How's it going, everyone? Welcome back to Coaster Media, and today we are going to be doing a NoLimits2 tutorial. I've done a few of these in the past, and I've gotten much better at NoLimits2. When I first did these, I was still kind of not good at it. I'm still not good at it. I'm just okay. I can make a few decent coasters. But today, I'm going to be teaching those of you, such as my friend Coasters Worldwide, or Evan, I know you're going to get NoLimits2 soon, or any other people out there who just got NoLimits2, just have no idea absolutely what the heck to do. So I'm gonna try my best to teach you guys how to make the most basic coaster, and maybe I'll do more of these if this one actually helps, or maybe this one will crash and burn like all the other ones. So let's get into it. Okay, so obviously you have to click something to start, so you want to go ahead and click editor once you open the game, and it'll usually give you a little tip here. I've never shut it off. I like having a tip, and it just kind of sometimes it gives you useful tips, and you can hit next, but I always hit OK. Now, how do you build a coaster? Well, first you gotta start by hitting File, and you hit New. And you just name your park. So you want to hit OK, and you want to hit Yes, and it'll create your park. So now let's get into the actual coaster building. So you want to hit this button over here on the coaster tab. You want to hit New Coaster. Now you want to name the coaster. I think we're probably just gonna make a wooden coaster, maybe. We'll do Arrow next video or something. And to pick your coaster type and edit all the styles and stuff, you want to hit Coaster Properties, and you have the name here, just wooden coaster, whatever. And right now you have a class. This is the default coaster. It's just a Schwarzkopf looping coaster. So you want to scroll down all the way to the bottom. Here's Gravity Group, but we're not doing that. Scroll all the way down, and here you have the wooden coaster. You have the 4-seat PTC trains, the 6-seat PTC trains, the GCI trains, and then you have the other trains. Forget who makes those. Totally forgot. Anyway, we're probably gonna do this classic 6-seat. Feel free to do any wooden coaster kind that you want to do, but I'm going to do this because we're just making a classic wooden coaster. We're not gonna make a Gravity Group or anything. We're just gonna make probably a simple out and back wooden coaster today. So just go with that. Now, most old coasters have the center of rail banking. That means the track will bank at the level of the rider. Not the rider, the level of the rails, like center of the rails, like where the spine is at on the track. Whenever I build coasters, I usually build them in Heartline style because it's just easier to build that way. And then when I'm done with the coaster, if I want it to be center of rails, I'll switch it back, or I'll keep it Heartline. But for a coaster that just goes out and back, it honestly doesn't matter that much. And we want 5 cars per train, I guess. We'll see. And that's all we're going to have right now. We're just going to have one train. Okay. Now, some of you might want to have your thing set up in a 4-way view. I'll show you how to do that. You hit File. Not File. Yeah. You go to... No, it wasn't that. I think it was in... Where was Preferences? I haven't played this for a while, obviously. No, it is in File. Yeah, you go down here. You hit Preferences, and then there's these things. I do single view, and there's all these different views, but people will do quad view, and that basically gives you 4 different views to build from, which I think the screens are honestly too small when you build like that. I like having a nice big screen, so that is why I do single view, but you can always do whatever you want. I was just showing you guys how to do that just in case you want to. Now right here, this is the origin. That's why there's an O right there. So now, those of you who are maybe younger or don't understand how this game works, it is essentially a giant graph. Here's your x-axis, like you learned in algebra or whatever. This is your x-axis. This is your y-axis. And then go from the top view, the forward and back, that is your z-axis. That's what makes it 3D. So left and right is x, up and down is y, and forward and back is z when you're from the front view. You notice when you're from the left view, it changes. Now x is forward and back. So you have top view, front view, back view, left view, right view, perspective, and then track, which we don't have track yet, so it's just blank. And this is perspective. You can kind of fly around and look at what you're doing. But right now, we're going to go in front view, and we're going to begin placing tracks. So you want to go to the track tab. Sorry this is taking so long to explain. I'm just making sure those of you who really don't know how to play this know how to get started. And yeah. Okay, so now we're going to hit Add Vertex, or you can do Insert or Add it. They both do the same thing. We want to go ahead and click it once, then click it again. Now keep in mind, when you're about right here, your track is sitting right on the ground. So you want to have it elevated just a bit. And what we're going to do, this coaster is not going to have friction wheels. So we need to make sure we change that in the station. And what I did here is I highlighted this and I just hit the make straight, or just make straight from front. So it makes it straight from the front point of view. What you're going to do is take this insert vertex button and just insert a few vertexes here. So you have lots of vertexes there. I'm going to lift this up a bit. It's a little bit too much on the banking there. And you're just going to highlight it, make it straight. That's pretty darn good on the descent. So now you want to hit add type separator down here. You're going to click it once here. You're going to click it once here. You're going to click select and modify. Highlight that. You can highlight it like that, or you can just click it. You want to click select type. You want to select station. And then you're going to hit type settings. This is just where you do all the settings. You name the section. I'm just going to call it station. I can't type today. I'm going to call it station. You can adjust the wait times, the brake device, how many G's it applies. I'll just put it around 1. Now, do we want a driving device like friction wheels or LSM or LIM? I do not, because old coasters do not have those. Trying to build like a 70s Woody. I mean, Schwarzkopfs have drive wheels, but they were kind of the first company to actually kind of do that. Actually, the Beast did too, didn't it? The Beast is weird. It's always been weird. Alright, so now we're actually going to scoot this back a bit because I didn't place it right. Just scooch it back. And we're going to make a turn. So what you want to do is hit top view. You want to highlight this. Okay. Just zoom in a bit. You can zoom in and out by scrolling. And you right click to, or not, yeah. You hold down the right click button to drag this around. Left click to highlight. Alright. So you're going to highlight this triangular vertex. You're going to hit add vertex. And you're just going to kind of place a vertex right here. And then again, you're just going to make it like that. Now all we're doing here is making a turn. We're going to highlight this whole coaster and scooch it over. I like to try to line it up on these vertices whenever I'm in a straight section. Or not vertice, on the thick part of the graph point. Because it just helps you make the coaster. Now we're going to highlight, we don't need to highlight. Yeah, highlight it and hold control and click the track to make that not be white. Then you want to click front view, and we're going to make this turn bank just a little bit. And you're going to hold control and unselect that one vertex. You're going to go to left or right view. It really doesn't matter. They're both the same. It's just, actually, to be honest, right view might be better for this, but they're both pretty good. You're just going to take that to about that level. So this is almost sitting on the ground. And we're going to go into perspective view now and take a look at what we have so far. So it's going to come out of the station and just take a right turn. We're probably just going to go straight into the lift hill because why not? You know, yeah, why not? And right now you're going to hit add roll like I just did, and you're going to click here, which is what I did. And you want to drag it so it's just outside of the station. You're going to double click it to pop this up. Now a lot of people will have this open and leave it in the corner. That's what I do, or people will just close it and then every time they open a vertex they'll double click it. I honestly open it and leave it there the whole time. And right now you want to hit strict, so that way nothing behind that point, so nothing in between this point and we'll do that again. Hit strict. Nothing between these 2 points will be banked. These are both exactly at 0. Now if we both made them like 15, they're both strict, everything in between this whole section would be 15, but it's going to be 0. So we're also going to bank this turn slightly because NoLimits2's auto banking is odd. However, we need to start making the lift hill first. So you're going to select the last vertex we did, and you want to be in left or right view. It doesn't matter. You guys don't even have to do the exact thing I'm doing, but if you want to do the coaster I'm doing, feel free to just copy it down. I don't care. This is just going to be the most simple of coasters. Now you want to kind of use the graph to help you when you add these vertexes in. You can use these graphing lines to kind of tell you what angle of ascent. Like that's way too steep, obviously. I'm gonna keep straightening it, you know, make sure it stays straight. That's a pretty okay lift hill. It's not exactly like, this is not exactly like a classic wooden coaster. Like it's somewhat of a modern shape right now because it just does a turn and goes into the lift hill, but it's basic enough. It's not even, doesn't really have to be a classic woody. It can just be I'm going for the basic here. That's all I'm doing. Okay, well that's great. you want to scooch it up here, and there's this no lateral G-force button. Basically what that does is it banks the turn so there's no lateral G-forces at all. But you hit this thing up here and it tells you what the G-forces are. So right now they're green and they're good, and you can highlight over them and check them at the bottom there. Now if we see how it's almost yellow, that means it's like kind of intense. But right now we have no laterals, and we're probably not going to want to have anything yellow on this coaster lateral G-force wise. Positive and negative G-force wise, maybe, but usually that's like RMC airtime. And also, one thing you guys need to know about my coaster building style is I tend to build things way more aggressive and fast and intense than most NoLimits2 creators do. A lot of NoLimits2 creators build their coasters really slow and kind of sucky, to be honest. I don't know why, but some do. And what I'm doing in the background here is I'm just building the lift hill. That's all I'm doing. How tall is this? 98 feet. That's pretty good. So we're going to keep it probably at that height. That's a pretty good lift hill. That's a pretty good angle. Probably about 20, somewhere between 20 and 30 degrees, I would say. I could, like, let's look at it, I guess. One square is 45 degrees. Like, if you just go from this corner of the square to that corner of a square, it's 45 degrees. Yeah, it's probably around 25 to 35, somewhere around there. So now you want to go back to the top of the lift hill, and if you notice, I selected this whole thing and hit make straight. Like, it's not just from the left point of view, just straight in total. Now we're going to flatten out the top of the lift hill. Now what you want to start by doing is hitting add vertex. Make sure you select this vertex first, and then hit add vertex. Excuse me. And you want to go ahead and add a vertex, and begin shaping the drop. Now that doesn't look too fantastic now, does it? Probably not. So you want to highlight this and hit your backwards arrow key. No, yeah. Use your arrow. You can use your arrow keys to move these around, but if you do left and right, as you can tell, it's just moving it forward and back. Depends on what point of view you're in. Right now we're in left, so I'm just scooching these around via keys. And my phone is going off like crazy. I don't know why. Oh well. So then you just want to highlight these and make sure these are straight again. And now we're just going to kind of make a old wooden coaster drop. And old wooden coaster drops are straight. So we're just going to shape that like so. And as you can tell, it doesn't really look very smooth. And you can just highlight these three vertices and hit that button. Ooh, what did I do? Oh, I did that. Okay, don't worry about that. When you right click, be careful about what you're clicking. Okay, so we have the drop, and the lift hill looks pretty but it looks like a pretty basic wooden coaster. To be honest, it looks pretty basic. And that's what most classic wooden coasters drops will look like. This is actually kind of big for a classic woody, I would say, but it doesn't look that bad. That's what happens when you spend 1 minute on making a drop, and that's all we're going to spend on it. Now you need to make the lift hill. So once again, just like we did the station, we're going to click Add Type Separator. And you're going to go over here where you have your 0 banking tab, and you're also going to hit Speed Comb. Where does it reach 0? The middle of the train reaches 0 miles an hour right here. Just saying, this speed comb is measured from the middle of the train, if I'm correct. You want to place it somewhere near that 0 mark, that 0 banking mark. Just right there is good. You can scooch it a little bit closer. And then you want to go up to the top of the lift hill. You can get rid of speed comb now. Somewhere at the top you want to hit, well, this is where the end of the lift will be. You want to click that type separator again. And the end of the lift will probably be somewhere right here. Then you want to highlight the lift hill, and you want to hit section type, and you hit lift. And you want to hit type settings. Now you want to name it. I don't know, I never know if I'm going to have 1 lift or 2 lift. No matter, even if I build a B&M, I'll call it lift 1, just in case. Even if it's like a B&M or something that never have 2 lifts. Always a good idea to do that, just in case. So that's always a good thing. And by the way, I hear something might be coming to Dollywood, so expect a video on that to come out soon, maybe. I'll be taking a look at that today, actually. So I just saw a notification about a video talking about it. And I might need to update my own channel on that because I like giving my feedback on new things. Okay, so we're going to make the lift hill 8 miles an hour, seems alright. And the acceleration, it doesn't really matter what you do that. I mean, 0.5, the lift hill picks up the speed right away. If you put it on 0.1, the lift hill takes like 2 or 3 seconds to pick up speed. And then this is the motor. When you hear that little sound when you pull up to the lift hill, that's what this is. You can have it at the start, the end, or none at all. On a classic wooden coaster, they usually have the motor at the bottom, so we'll just keep it there. Okay, so congratulations. If you are looking similar to what I have right now, you have built a lift hill and a drop and a turn. So congratulations. This is what ours looks like. Does yours look similar, or does it not? It depends. If you then did your own thing or not. So now we're gonna make a few little airtime humps. Now airtime humps are difficult because, like I said, we did that depump vertice tool on. No, we didn't actually. We didn't have to depump vertices yet. We might not have to on this coaster, except for on a few turns. Now what depump vertices does is it makes a really jagged element that you make. It's this button right here. Like, let's say we hit that. It makes the vertices smoother, and it makes the things you highlighted, it makes these vertices smoother so you don't jerk around. So basically it turns an arrow into a B&M. Let's just stick to that for now, even though it's not really what it does. So go back to left view, and we're going to start constructing an airtime hill now. So I'm going to highlight that vertex, and I'm going to hit add vertex. And always, obviously that is way too big. Well, I'm just starting to make a hill right now. That's just a little hump. And obviously this is going to have extreme G-forces. That's pretty extreme. This is like, this airtime right here is, let's say, that would probably be like Storm Chaser's Trick Track Double Up. That's probably what this airtime would feel like. And that's not realistic for this coaster. And that G-force right there is also an issue. We're now going to have to scooch this, actually. That way. That works. Okay. So now what we're going to do is we need to lower this down a bit until it becomes in between. Yeah, see, it's like green with the slight bit of yellowish in it. That's pretty good. Okay. So that's our first airtime hill. Congratulations if you are currently what I'm viewing. If you have what I'm... If your screen looks similar to mine, congratulations. You've constructed an airtime hill. Now, for really small airtime hills, you don't really want to depump the vertices, mostly because you can't. And also, this kind of airtime hill is pretty easy to make. Not very hard. We can go see what it looks like in perspective view. It's just a little hump. Pretty easy to do. Now what you can also do is you can just add in a whole bunch more vertices. Some NoLimits creators will just have like 1,000 vertices on their coasters, which they can do that. Like, you can just add in 1,000 vertices here. I typically don't do that unless it's on a really fancy element, but we're not going to do that. There's no need to do that. But some people will. They'll just have like the lift hill will be made up of 20 vertices rather than 5. What do you have? We have like 7 maybe. That's all you really need. You don't need a ton, unless it's just a really complex element. This is just like the most simple element you can do. It's not a lift hill. Okay. Now we're probably gonna do maybe one bigger hill that kind of gets slow at the top but doesn't really have airtime. So it'll have one big hill that doesn't really have airtime, and then we'll do a little hump, and then I'll go up and do a turnaround and come back with just airtime humps. Okie dokie. So we're just going to do the same shaping we did pretty much. We're going to use this square to our advantage. Well, that's probably not going to make it because we have a coaster. The coaster's lift hill is that tall. So right here at the top of this hill, it's going about 20 miles an hour, 27 I guess. That's what it says. It's not too great. It's pretty good speed for the hill we're going for. Just going to continue to even it out, make it the same shape on this side. Okay, there you go. Now for this coaster, you could depump the vertices. We're going to depump the vertices at the bottom, because as you can see, they don't look too great. So you just want to, well, on this kind of coaster, we're doing a classic wooden coaster. You don't really need to, you can't really depump a lot of these elements. That's kind of the best you can do. So we won't do any depumping till the end, actually. We'll try that. Because I think when you're building a coaster this simple, you can't and you don't really need to do any depumping on the vertices because the elements are just straight. Now the next episode we'll call it an episode, sure. We'll do some depumping, I think. We'll probably do an arrow looper or something. We'll do some custom shaping. So this is our little hill here. As you can see, the G-forces probably don't really have any airtime. It actually has some airtime. Okay. That's pretty good out of your seat floating airtime right there. And that's pretty good actually. So if your airtime hill looks like that with the G-forces, if your G-forces look like this at all, with a slight bit of yellow on the bottom of the G's, on the bottom of the hills, and good green, slightly yellow G-forces on these airtime hills, you're doing all right. Just depends on what you're going for. I'm going for like late 70s, early 80s wooden coasters, so I don't really want insane airtime. I just want some good classic floater, which is really 0 G's, but you know. Okay, let me check how this looks. Are we just going to go into a turnaround, or are we going to the airtime homes? We're going to go ahead and do one more airtime hump and then a turnaround, I guess. Or we can do a double up. Colossus has a double up. We could do that. Double ups are fun. Okay, welcome to this constructing of a double up. I'm just gonna scooch that over a bit. So I do double ups on a lot of modern coasters, but not really on the classics. So these are a little bit more difficult to do. If you notice, it's kind of pointy. We need to make this straight as well. So you guys just want to follow my lead here on this. Can't really verbally describe it. So you want to, well, I guess I could. You want to make it go up with 3 vertices, and then the third vertice is just like a point. You want to make it go down and flatten back out, and then you're just going to make it go back up again. And you want to make it flatten back out. So it's like a hill. Do we want to do that? Nah. That made it too intense. Okay. So we have a double up into the turnaround. That actually looks pretty nice. That's not bad. So now we're going to go to perspective and take a look at what we have. And it looks pretty nice. Not quite sure what this coaster would be based off of. We're going to go back to left view real quick and highlight that vertex and just add one point that's slightly. Alright, actually, we're going to want the total decline to be about here after the turn. And make sure it's straight. Now we're going to start constructing a turn. So you want to make sure this vertex is highlighted. You want to hit add vertex and just start constructing a turn. So basically it goes diagonal from corner to corner. Then it goes across from corner to corner. Then it goes diagonal from corner to corner again. What you're going to want to do is take these two and depump them. So you want to hit element and hit depump. Okay. Now you want to highlight all of these. And I don't know what view you're going to want to do this from. You're probably going to want to do this from front view. Yes. From front view. And you're going to hit make straight from front. Now you want to go back and top, make sure it didn't screw it up, which it did screw it up. So you need to fix that. Go back to left view. We'll just have to do this manually. So you just want to make it so there's a gradual slope on this turn. So we want to keep it around 25 miles an hour. Nothing above that. Which we did pretty well. So that's good. You can straighten these out if you want a bit. You don't really have to. It doesn't really matter all that much. If you want to straighten these out, it just really does help make the turn look nice. Okay. We have a pretty good turnaround constructed there. Actually, we don't. Oops. Hold on. We'll keep it like this. Okay. So we have our turn. It's not banked or anything yet, but it's a pretty good turn. Probably has, yeah, some yellow laterals. We need to bank those a bit. Probably at 10 degrees or so. We'll see. But we have a pretty nice looking turnaround. And right now we want to highlight that, go back to left view, and we're going to start constructing the drop from this. We're just going to use the graph to help us out again. Make it straight. Just going to highlight these. Make it straight. Let's take a look at this from the perspective. How does that look? That looks pretty nice. That looks pretty good. Looks like a pretty nice little coaster, I must say. I have no idea how long I've been recording for. My recorder doesn't say. Or does it? 26 minutes. Okay, that's great. Okay. It's obviously going to be trimmed down quite a bit, because I'm not going to make you all sit here and watch me build a coaster in 30 minutes. Okay. And also I did a lot of talking. Okay. No laterals. Well, you want to turn on G-forces for this. You want to bank it so there's just no yellow G's. Because no lateral means, like, no laterals at all. So right here at the end, it's going to be banked at, like, 20. And then on the drop, you want to put a vertex right here on that vertex. You want to put a roll point on this vertex and make that strict at 0. Just like I did over here, except it's in a different spot. So it's kind of going to be banked as it goes down the drop. And that's our turnaround. Turned out pretty nicely. Nice. Okay. Now you want to go back to your left view. We're just going to make a series of airtime hills that are about this size, maybe a little bit smaller. So let's go ahead and start doing that. Make that vertex go right there. I'm just going to tap that button. And what you're going to do is you're just going to use this grid to help you out. Even though that hill is way too pointy, it's okay. Want to use your G-force thing to help you out. Just lower it down until it's just right. Probably right there is where we want to go, I would say. We'll just keep repeating that. So what are we at? Well, speed-wise. Drag this up until it's at about 25. I would say right there. And you go and insert a vertex and make it straight between those three. Make sure the G's are okay. G's are okay. Okay. Now we're going to start like we did with the turnaround, except we're going to turn it into a helix. Go from... Alright. So we're going to go ahead and start the helix. Right now it's moving slow, so it doesn't need to be super loose. But as you go through the helix, it's going to get more and more loose. Kinda. That was poorly drawn. Okay, let's do that again. Again. Okay. That's much better. I made it much more good that time. That's even a word. Much more good. Okay, and these three vertices want to be at the bottom of the helix.
Push me down to the ground. What goes around comes around. You won't put the flame out. You can't get to me.
And it's a pretty gradual helix. It's not anything really intense. It just kind of gradually goes down. As you can see. And what you can do is you can actually depump this to make it be more gradual and look nice. So I highlighted everything except for that vertice. Oh boy, I screwed it up. Don't highlight this vertice because I want it to, unless you want it to start banking, but it'll move this one, and I don't want it to move because I want it to be straight at that point. I'm going to highlight all of them, pretty much. You want to go ahead and hit depump. Depump them vertices. And you have a nice, fairly flat helix. What I'm going to do is it's just going to continue to turn into a brake run. It's going to go up a little bit into a brake run right here, and then it'll turn right into the station. That's what I'm looking at right here. Okay, so right here. The brake run's going to be right there. Yes. That turned out kind of alright. Okay, so you just want to highlight the brake run, highlight the brake run, highlight the brake run, hit make straight. Got a nice bit of banking there, or not banking, whatever, you know what I mean. And now all we need to do is make a turn right here, which is what we're going to do. So go to top view, oop, I scooched it, hit add vertex twice, like that. You just want to highlight this triangle and that square and hit connect. Then all you have to do is shape, do a little bit of shaping. And then that's really all you got to do. And then, obviously, I'm going to fix up that. I'm going to hit all these buttons. Highlight those vertices again. Make straight. You want to do the same thing with the front vertices. That did not look well. Okay. Make that straight from there. You can also lower the station down a bit. How does it start out? Does it start out well? Yeah, it starts off at a fair speed. Okay. So we're just gonna go ahead and make a brake run right here. Hit brake, and you want to title this something like along the lines of deforestation. And go ahead and hit 1 deceleration, maximum speed of 10 miles an hour. And that way, after the train hits the brake run over here, it'll come and stop right here, and then wait to be boarded. Now we need to make the final brake run. But first, we need to do some vertice work, as well on the helix, as well as on the helix. And this coaster will actually be capable of running 3 trains if you would like. I'm going to attempt to run 3 trains on this, because we have a 3-block system brake run, so it should work. But first, we're going to go over here and worry about these roll points. So right before this vertice, you're going to add a roll point. It's at 0. And you're going to do... We're going to have a little bit of laterals in this one. Slightly. Like that. See, if we do that, it gets rid of the yellow lateral. 30 degrees. 35 degrees. 20 degrees. Make sure it doesn't get yellow. doesn't quite get yellow. And this is going to be the strongest bank on the coaster. It's going to be about 45 degrees. It's pretty intense for this coaster. Ooh, my lights just flickered. Isn't that fancy? I've been recording for 40 minutes. Holy crap. Okay, and as you can see, it flies through that turn because it's not even banked. We're actually going to depump that one spot. That's better. Okay, we need to make our brake run real quick, so type separator. Want to have your speed panel up or speed cone out. You want to highlight this, make it a brake run. Make the max speed about 10 miles an hour. Depends on what you really want. 8, 10, 6, it's all fine. Just call it end BR for end brake run. And that's pretty good. It'll stop on that brake run easily. That's at the middle of the train, it reaches 10, so it would be a complete stop right here if it needed to completely stop. All we have to do is check on this turn. We'll bank this turn at 10. That's pretty good. So we're gonna go ahead and do a test run and just run one train, and then we'll go ahead and worry about the supports and the we'll worry about the supports and adding more trains coloring just after this. Just after we do a test run. Here we go. Oh, hit F2 to open this panel. Yeah, it tells you the G-forces, which we don't need to worry about right now because I know the G-forces are good. I'm going to go ahead and speed up the lift hill just to make our lives easier. There we go. That's a pretty successful test run, right? I would say we were running 2 trains on this ride. It's capable of running 3, but you don't have a mid-course brake run, so you probably would not want to run 3. That's what I would recommend. So we'll go ahead and run 2 trains. And I'll also teach you guys how to do the supports here in a second. Alright, so we have 2 trains. Excellent. Now we're going to go ahead and do the supports. So we want to hit the supports tab, hit wooden generator. We're probably going to use steeple because that's the most simple kind. Hit generate final and go ahead and hit OK. It generates these supports for you. They're pretty nice. I like them very much. Nice. And we do kind of interfere with those right there a bit, don't we? Let's go ahead and clear generated. We're going to do, let's try Chapel. These all look good. Chapel, that works. Chapel is the other somewhat classic kind of slope. The coasters that use this would be like Roller Coaster Corporation of America, maybe Den Corporation would use this kind of support beams. They also use, what's it called? Cathedral. It's like a stair-step structure. But it all depends. One's just a slope, one is a slope with vertical sections like this, and then one is like a stair-step structure. The stair-step structure uses the most wood. It will cause the most lag if you have lag issues. But this works pretty well with this section here. Delete these pieces. I'm just being nitpicky right now. Okay, that's good. So I want to just save it real quick, just in case, like I've been doing repeatedly. You want to go ahead and go back to your coaster properties, and then we're going to color it. The track. We'll go ahead and just color it brown. I already have brown as a preset on this. well, cross ties will be brown. The main spine, we'll make it like a white. We'll make it a white coaster. Just make it slightly gray. Cross ties will be brown. I don't think they paint cross ties. The cars, we'll make them red. Black seat. Old PTCs usually have like an orange lap bar. Racer, Beast, they usually have orange. PTC lap bars are either usually black or orange. What did I just select? The Bogey? Chassis, also going to be black. Supports, we're going to make that gray. Handrails, gray. Catwalks, gray. Want to hit OK. And go ahead and hit freeze. And see how it turns out. We'll do a quick little viewing of the coaster here. And that should be it. Okay, let's see how the colors look. That looks nice. We'll go ahead and ride it, and that'll be it, I think. It's almost, I've been recording for almost an hour. Jeez. Here we go. Alright, I think that was pretty successful. That's as crazy as we're going to get with this coaster. I guess we'll look at it off-ride for one test run. Is it going? Yeah, dispatched. Okay. Very good. Pre-lift section isn't exactly like a classic Woody, but whatever. Classic Woody coaster will not have a pre-lift section. This is like a Gravity Group pre-lift section. But don't worry about it. It's all good. I just banked it a bit too much. Already at the top of the list. Not bad. I like this coaster. It's really nice. It goes around quick, like Judge Roy Scream does. Judge Roy Scream goes around. Oh, you know what we didn't do? We did not heartline it. Looks more like... I really wanted to not heartline it, really just because of this helix. That's really the only reason why I didn't want it heartlined. Makes it look a lot better. It's a really good ride. I like it. I don't know where it would fit in at. Just, I don't know. That's a really good classic looking Woody. So I'd like to thank all you beautiful, wonderful people for watching. I hope this was somewhat helpful to those of you who actually needed help. And if those of you who are watching this just for entertainment, I hope you enjoyed this as well. I will probably be making another one of these today, I suppose, later in the week for an aero looper. Think about it. That one will be probably the harder these things get, the longer they will be. I'll have to see how long this video is after trimming down and stuff. And right now, it's about 49 minutes. I'll cut it off with the color. we'll see how this goes. But if this is all received and people want more, we'll go ahead and do more, and we'll do more of these tutorials. Because I know there's only like 2 or 3 channels that do tutorials, and they're all from different points of view. So it'll be interesting to see.